Today, April 1st, this is not just another ordinary day, and if this message has found you, it's because something greater wanted your attention. I need you to listen carefully, because what I'm about to say is not light or casual, it carries weight. When I first saw the vision of your future, I didn't speak right away. I paused. Even in the presence of divine clarity, there are moments so powerful that silence becomes necessary. And what I saw, it brought me to tears. Not because something terrible is coming, but because of how close you came to a path that would have slowly taken everything from you. A version of your life where you felt drained, where your light dimmed, where you questioned your worth and nearly gave up. That path was real and it was near. Recently, you may have felt off, confused, tired, disconnected, like something just wasn't aligning no matter how hard you tried. That wasn't random. That wasn't weakness. That was protection happening in real time. There were people, situations, and opportunities entering your life that looked harmless, even promising on the surface, but carried intentions and outcomes that would have hurt you deeply. And before those things could fully reach you, before they could settle into your life, divine intervention stepped in. Doors closed suddenly, plans fell apart, people distanced themselves, and it hurt. You didn't understand why, and maybe you blamed yourself, but what you couldn't see was that those closed doors were shields, not losses. You weren't being rejected, you were being redirected. You weren't being delayed, you were being positioned exactly where you needed to be. There was a version of your story where you said yes to the wrong thing, trusted the wrong person, and walked straight into something that would have broken your spirit. But that version never fully happened because you were protected before it could unfold. That's why things have felt strange lately. That's why your intuition has been louder. That's why your energy has been shifting. You've been guided even when it didn't feel clear. Now you're standing at a turning point. Behind you is confusion, pain, and everything that didn't make sense. Ahead of you is clarity, peace, and alignment. But I need to be honest with you. It may feel unfamiliar at first, not because it's wrong, but because it's right. You're used to struggle, to overthinking, to trying to control outcomes that were never yours to carry. But what's coming next doesn't require that version of you anymore. Things are going to begin to flow. The right people will stay without confusion. The right opportunities will feel natural instead of forced. And at first, you might not trust it, because when you've been through so much, peace can feel unfamiliar, but don't push it away. Some people will not come with you into this next phase of your life, and that's okay. It's not about blame or anger, it's about alignment. You're outgrowing spaces, conversations, and connections that no longer match who you're becoming. Let them go without needing closure or explanation. Not every ending needs words. Some endings are simply protection doing its job quietly. What's coming into your life now isn't luck or coincidence. It's the result of everything you've endured without giving up. Every moment you stayed strong. Every time you chose to keep going when it would have been easier to quit. It all led you here. You are stepping into something that finally reflects your growth, your strength, and your purpose. And when it fully unfolds, you'll understand why things didn't work before. You'll understand why certain people left, why plans fell apart, and why the timing never felt right. It will all make sense. But right now, you don't need all the answers. You just need to trust that you are being guided, protected, and prepared for something greater than you expected. So don't rush, don't force anything, and most importantly, don't go back to what you were saved from, because what's ahead of you now is something you once prayed for, and this time, nothing is going to stand in its way.
And as you move forward, there's something even deeper you need to understand. This shift in your life is not just external. It's happening within you. You're changing in ways you can't fully explain yet. The way you think, the way you react, the way you see people, it's all evolving. Things that once triggered you don't hold the same power anymore. Situations that once confused you are starting to make sense. This is not sluchai, it's alignment. You're becoming more aware, more grounded, more in tune with what feels right and what doesn't. And that inner clarity is going to guide you better than anything outside of you ever could. There will be moments, though, where the past tries to pull you back. Old emotions may resurface, memories might hit unexpectedly. You may even feel tempted to revisit people or situations that once felt familiar. But listen carefully. Familiar does not mean right. Just because something feels known doesn't mean it belongs in your future. You have outgrown versions of yourself that tolerated less than you deserved, and going back would only reopen doors that were closed for a reason. This is your moment to choose differently, to stand firm in the growth you've already achieved. You're also going to notice a shift in your energy. You'll start protecting your peace more. You won't feel the need to explain yourself as much. You won't chase validation the way you used to. And that might feel strange at first, because you're stepping into a version of yourself that doesn't operate from fear anymore. You're no longer trying to prove your worth. You're starting to understand it. And when you truly understand your value, everything around you begins to change. The way people treat you, the opportunities that come your way, the decisions you make, it all starts aligning with a higher standard. What's coming into your life next will require you to trust yourself more than ever before. Not your fears, not your doubts, not your past experiences, but your inner knowing. That quiet voice inside you that has been trying to guide you all along. It may not always be loud, but it is always right. And the more you listen to it, the clearer your path will become. You won't need constant reassurance from others. You won't need signs everywhere. You'll just know. And that kind of certainty is something you've been building toward this entire time. At the same time, don't be surprised if things start moving faster than you expected. After a long period of waiting and confusion, life can suddenly feel like it's picking up speed. Opportunities may come quickly. Decisions may need to be made faster. And while that might feel overwhelming, it's actually a sign that things are finally aligning. You're no longer stuck. You're moving. Just remember, you don't have to rush your choices. Move with confidence, not pressure. There's a difference. You're also entering a phase where honesty will become more important than ever. Not just honesty with others, but honesty with yourself. You won't be able to ignore what you feel anymore. You won't be able to pretend something is okay when it's not. And while that level of awareness can feel uncomfortable, it's also freeing. Because the moment you start being real with yourself, you stop settling for things that don't match your truth. You start choosing what actually feels right, not what's convenient or expected. And here's something powerful. You are about to experience a different kind of peace, not the temporary kind that depends on everything going perfectly, but a deeper, more stable peace that stays even when life isn't perfect. A peace that comes from knowing you're on the right path. A peace that doesn't need constant reassurance. That kind of peace changes everything. It changes how you handle challenges, how you respond to people, how you see your future. There will still be challenges ahead. Life doesn't become perfect overnight. But the difference now is that you won't face them the same way. You're stronger, you're wiser, you're more aware. What once felt overwhelming will now feel manageable. What once broke you will now teach you. And what once confused you will now become clear. So as you step into this next phase, remember this: you are not the same person you were before. You've grown, even in ways you didn't notice at the time. You've learned lessons that shaped you. You've survived moments that could have taken you down a completely different path. And now you're standing in a place where everything is starting to come together. Trust where you are. Trust where you're going. And most importantly, trust yourself. Because this time, you're ready.
And now, as this message comes to an end, take a moment to truly feel where you are right now. You made it through things that could have easily broken you, even when no one fully understood what you were carrying. You faced days in silence, held emotions you couldn't always express, and still found a way to keep going. That matters more than you realize. This isn't just the end of a message, it's the end of an old version of you, the one that kept doubting, the one that held on to what hurt, the one that questioned your worth. That version has brought you this far, but it's no longer the one meant to lead you forward. Where you're going now requires a different energy, a stronger and more certain version of yourself. From this moment on, things begin to shift, not in a chaotic or overwhelming way, but in a calm and aligned direction that finally feels right. You won't have to force what's meant for you, and you won't have to chase what truly belongs in your life. Instead, things will begin to meet you where you are, reflecting the growth you've already gone through. Walk forward differently this time, not with fear or hesitation, but with a quiet confidence that comes from everything you've survived and learned. Let life unfold without trying to control every outcome. Let people show you who they truly are without needing to question it. Let yourself exist in the present instead of being pulled back into the past. And if there's one thing you carry with you after this, let it be this truth: you were protected, you were guided, and you were never alone. The future ahead of you is no longer something to fear, it's something to step into. And one day, when you look back at this moment, you'll realize this wasn't just something you heard,
It was the exact moment everything began to change.